Afternoon then will be the boys AA final. Mastery Charter, the North Pumas and the Quips of Aliquippa. Saturday at 2 o'clock, the tip-off in your boys 2A championship. Mastery Charter, the District 12 number 2 team, 27-3. Aliquippa, the only undefeated boys team. The Quips coming in at 29-0. Chris, I'm going to stay right out there with you here for a minute as we are looking at the map there. Well, let me get in their locations real quick with this one. Mastery Charter in Philadelphia, member of the Public League, while Aliquippa on Harding Avenue. Beaver County, 1924 established. They are the red and black, and of course, no stranger to being on this stage. This is going to be their 10th championship game appearance. They have to be excited to get back here in a tone. They have some football guys that have been involved. They finished runner-up in football. They were runner-up in a state tournament here. I'm sure they're looking for the gold ball on this trip to Hershey.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, they were here in the title game last year and ended up losing to Conwell-Egan. So if you add this year's record to last year's, they are now 58-1 in the last two seasons in basketball. They did bring their football team to the state championship game. Kazan Pugh was one of their football stars. He is being recruited by Pitt. As a matter of fact, he signed to play linebacker at the University of Pittsburgh next year. He's one of the stars on this basketball team, averaging 8 points and 8 rebounds a ball game. So, yeah, the Quips are hungry for a victory, particularly after not getting the deal done last year. And if I may, Chucky Humphreys, the leader of this basketball team, is going to West Liberty State in West Virginia, averaging 17.5 points, 11 rebounds a ball game. Jasir Jordan, 17-6 per game. They are the leaders of Aliquippa. I got to see them play against Lincoln Park in the Western Final. You know, the panel in Harrisburg was talking earlier about how some of these great championship games have been drawing some huge crowds. It was standing room only at Matheny Fieldhouse in Beaver Falls just a couple of nights ago when Aliquippa played Lincoln Park, and they had been ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state all season long. And what a game it was. Aliquippa held them off by 3 at the tail end, despite the fact that 3 starters on the Quips roster, on the Aliquippa Indians roster, fouled out in the last minute and a half of the game.
Yeah, Devin Crute was the young man who came on and made a big play for them to oust Lincoln Park. 3 starters from last year's state finalists. Jasir Jordan had 13 points in the title game a year ago. Chucky Humphreys was a starter at 6 points, 11 board, and Kazan Pugh, you mentioned, he had 5 points and 8 rebounds in the championship game from a year ago. So the Quips are back in it as the runner-up from a season ago, wins over Tyrone, West Middlesex, and of course Lincoln Park, the big one there. Jim, certainly revenge will be on their mind. It can be a great motivator in this environment.
No question about it. You know, this is your 3rd time up to the plate for a couple of these guys. You know, Jasir Jordan, Pugh, Jeter, they played football. That's going to be a big difference for them. They were here, just disappointed a couple of months ago. They're very good on defense, Mike. That's the thing, too. People a lot of times look at offense, but they're very good on defense. They've only allowed 42 points in the tournament up until they gave up 52 in the game the other day in the semifinal. But the thing of it is, they've done a good job offensively and defensively, and to come back, and as Chris said, to be 58-1 in 2 years is a very impressive fact. The question mark remains, can they stay out of foul trouble like they did in that semifinal, get in foul trouble? Can they stay out of foul trouble and be able to run and do what they need to do in this ballgame?
Looking at the highlights of their WPIAL win on February 27th over Lincoln Park, 49-45. Nick Lakovich is the 3rd-year head coach, 78-8. He's a graduate of the school at Aliquippa. Rick, how are they better this year than maybe they were last year in their quest to become a state champion?
Well, I think as Jim touched on it, their hunger to win it after losing to Conwell-Egan, I think by 11 last year in that final. So right there, that's the starting point for them. But I think the football, just having been here with you guys in December, right, how they were good in football, and so they're used to this kind of environment of it being in a championship game, so I think that's going to help them as well. But the experience, the muscle, the physicalness, I think that's what really helps them out here in this game.
They wound up losing to Southern Columbia in the boys, or no, it's all boys in football, obviously, in the 2A championship. Mastery Charter North, 27-3 out of the Philadelphia Public League. Here is their road to the championship, Mahanoy area, Danville, Trinity, Camp Hill. Rick, any marquee moments in there for you during their trip here to the championship?
Yeah, well, I mean, really all these are good wins from them. They did reach the quarters last year, so they're not a total unknown, but some people might say who is Mastery Charter North, and they're from Germantown in Philadelphia, but they're a good team. They beat some good teams. Look at this. Trinity was the District 3 champ, right? Camp Hill is a tough team that they knocked off. So Terrence Cook, the coach, he's the fourth-year coach at Mastery North, has done a nice job with this group, and they're just, I think they're playing, as somebody said, the house is money kind of at this point. I think, I think very few people have expected to be here, but they've been very good, and you're looking at their starting lineup now.
Alvin, Kitchen, Daly, Ross, and Plowden. Plowden averaging 13.8 points a game, number 25. When we do bring up the highlights there, he stands 6'5". Jim, we've talked a lot about teams that have been here and how they can use that experience. What are what do you have to overcome if you were Mastery Charter North in your first trip to Hershey and the obstacles that might face them?
Well, you have to learn your lessons, Mike, and I think that's the thing. Plowden was the MVP, Public League Division C MVP, so I think he's gotten a lot better this year. I think they've gotten contributions from a lot of other guys. Rodney Ross, for one of them, averages 10 points a game. He's number 12, you're going to see in these highlights. There you see a nice shot in there by number 11, Jamar Mike, number 11 is Eli Alvin. But the thing of it is, Mike, I think you need to make progress from where you were before. I think they've done that. I think they played a tough schedule again, which is in their favor, even though they finished in the second spot in District 12. I think that that's going to be a key for them. And the body control you see on a lot of these guys here, they're a very, very athletic team. They're able to full court press you, and that's another thing that's going to be a big factor here.
Chris, Aliquippa came into this game last year looking to obviously be a state champion, and as you look at Mastery Charter North, can you compare them to anybody on the Quips schedule this year, and how did they fare against them?
Actually, I'll compare them to Aliquippa. They look like they're very athletic. They can jump. They can move the basketball. And a nice stop-and-go move there and a putback as well. And they play similar athletic styles of basketball. The one thing Aliquippa has done this year to grow up a little bit as well is to surprise people with a 2-3 zone defense that they've employed from time to time, and that's how they were able to shut down Lincoln Park. So it'll be interesting. Obviously their main defense is man, and I'm sure that's what they'll try to play against Mastery Charter North Pickett. But this is a very athletic ball club, and Aliquippa better respect them coming into the championship game.
Jeff, your thoughts on Mastery Charter North?
I see some underclassmen again, just like I did with MCS. I mean, and Rick could probably answer this one a little bit better, but are they ready for prime time? Like you said, they were in the quarters last year. They've kind of been here. They've been on this stage, not this big of a stage, but do they have the experience to come to Giant Center?
Yeah, another good point, and you scan that roster pretty good. But this one does have two seniors in Rodney Ross, who's a 6'1" wing guard, and Asa Kitchen is a 5'9" senior point guard, so they do have a little bit of senior leadership, but the others are. Daquan Plowden is I believe a junior. They have Harold Daly, who's you saw making a putback there. He's a sophomore wing. So, yeah, that could be a little bit of a factor, but I think, as Jim said, they're a very athletic team, great body control, which you notice when you watch them there on film. So, this team, is a little bit young, but as we said, youth could still be served in this one.
And I also see 6'2", 6'3", 6'6", back line for Aliquippa. I don't know if that will bother Mastery North at all, going up against a bigger team, perhaps.
Talking about the 2A Boys Championship game, which will take place on Saturday afternoon. Rick, I asked Jim Wills earlier about, the move to the 6 classifications coming from District 12, the Public League, the Catholic League. What's your take on adding another classification? Don't forget, it's going to be a full day of AAA Championship. Mastery Charter North Pumas and the Aliquippa Quips. Rick, I'll start with you. You were the guy with the straw this time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this time I'd like to go for the home team of Mastery North, but I think the hunger, the determination of the Quips, they're undefeated, a lot on their side, Kazan Pugh, the inside muscle, the physicality. So I like Aliquippa in this one.
Chris, let's go out to you out west in Pittsburgh. Aliquippa will make the trip to Hershey once again. They know the route. It's just a matter of whether they bring home a golden ball or a silver basketball this time.
Absolutely. They cannot take Mastery lightly, and if the Quips play their game and get it done, and they have some signature wins over Massillon, Ohio. They beat them by 3. They beat Kennedy Catholic 51-37, and they tripped up Lincoln Park twice including in the Western Final. And a lot of people consider that to be the state championship game. That's why there were 2,700 people standing at Matheny Fieldhouse the other night. I like the Quips in this ball game. I think they've grown up. I think they have gotten a lot stronger and smarter. They play tougher than they did a year ago. I'm going to pick Aliquippa. And just as a side note, you were talking about the change from 4 classifications to 6. Next year, Aliquippa and Lincoln Park, who've only played twice, both times this year, will be in the same section next year.
Well, that'll certainly make things interesting. One quick question or comment from you yet, Chris. They are 29-0. Would you almost, as a coach, and we've seen undefeated teams get here and not win on this stage. They haven't, you know, I'm sure they dealt with adversity, but would you almost like to have, I know you never want to lose a game, but is there a little pressure that's taken off if you do have one setback maybe?
I don't know. Personally, I just don't think you ever want to lose a basketball game. You don't want to lose anything. They're on a tremendous ride right now. They could, with a win this weekend, become only the 4th team from Beaver County in all of history. The 1949 Aliquippa team, the 1965 Midland team, the 1967 Ambridge team, and this Aliquippa team. If they can finish the deal, they would only be the 4th team in the history of Beaver County basketball to go undefeated and win a state title.
Yeah, certainly, and then this making their 10th appearance. Jeff?
I think Aliquippa gets the job done. I've said it before here with a couple of other games. Knowing the Giants Center is enormous, and they're definitely motivated to finish the job this time. So I'll go Quips, 30-0.
Jim?
I would go with that same thing, Mike. I'm going to go with the Quips. 2 things Chris said that really hit home with me. One, they've grown up, which I think that's probably from the football loss as well. They've grown up. And the other thing that we talked about this on the way down, how ironic this is. We were talking about this in the car on the way down. Going to that 2-3 zone, changing up, not being a man-to-man person all the time. I think that a lot of times we've looked at these games, and the coaching aspect is I'm coming in with what I do, and I'm not going to change it. If you go to a 2-3 zone and get some success with it, now you have something else that other teams have to worry about. And I think with their back line, that's a big advantage.
Our third segment will come to a conclusion with the playing of the boys 2A championship, Mastery Charter and Aliquippa. It will happen Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Once again, stay with the Pennsylvania Cable Network, and you can check in on all the countless replays that have all of the...
This afternoon from Hershey inside the Giants Center. BCN's coverage of the PIAA basketball playoffs continues with the 2A Boys Championship. Our matchup, Mastery Charter North. The Pumas are 27-3, taking on the Quips of Aliquippa, unbeaten at 29-0. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome aboard our continuing coverage of championship basketball here on PCN alongside Gary Sutton. My name is Bob McCool, getting you set for the District 12 runner-up in Mastery Charter North, taking on the District 7 champion, Aliquippa, back here for the 2nd straight year. And Gary, if you like your basketball at a certain pace, I got a word for you. Fast.
Well, fast, blur, whatever you want to use, but you're going to see it going up and down the court pretty quickly here this afternoon. Things play out as they do on paper right now and as they have during the course of the season. These 2 teams like to run. They also like to play the game a different way. We'll talk about that in just a few moments.
And we take a look at where these 2 teams come from. Mastery Charter of the Philadelphia Public League in North Philadelphia, not too far from LaSalle University. And Aliquippa, of course, one of the great sports towns in all the state of Pennsylvania in Beaver County. And for Mastery Charter North, they are coached by Terrence Cook in his 4th season of building a program. And that's what his agenda is. He is building a program, took his team to the quarterfinals of the PIAA playoffs a year ago, has them here in the state championship in his 4th season running the program. And he's got a pretty young basketball team as well. A lot of them might be a little bit undersized, with the exception of one, and that would be Daquan Plowden.
Daquan Plowden, a 6'5" kid in the inside. He's a forward. He really knows how to light it up. He gets 14 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. And, of course, you saw he had 29 points in the quarterfinals. So when the big lights are on, he plays big.
And so then it becomes a situation for a team getting through the playoffs of getting themselves out and making the bus trips. And for Mastery Charter, it started with a win against the District 11 champion in Mahanoy area, and then a win over the District 4 champion Danville. They won that one by 30. Came back against a very good Trinity team, the District 3 champion, and they won that one by 8. And then another tight contest against the District 3 runner-up in Camp Hill, winning that one 66-58 to spring them here for their first state championship appearance, as opposed to Nick Lakovich and the Aliquippa Quips, looking for their 5th overall in program history. But again, looking to get off the runner-up situation. That's where the Quips were a year ago. Came here last year at 29-0, comes here again 29-0. So in 3 years, Nick Lakovich's record stands at 78-8. No question about the fact that he can win basketball games. And he has put a spotlight on his senior guard and said, Jasir Jordan has got to play better if we're going to win this game.
Jasir Jordan is a point guard. He's averaging 17 points a game. He had 19 points in the first round, but he didn't play up to snuff, according to Coach. And, you know, the point guard's got to be the extension of the coach on the floor. Coach Lakovich says, I don't recognize you just yet, but I want to recognize you again because I know what you can do.
It's been a pretty easy road, at least it was for the first few for Aliquippa. First against Tyrone, that was a 30-point win. Then it was back into the WPIAL against Bishop Canavan. That was a 28-point win. And then another 30-point win over District 10, number 3 seed Middlesex. And then finally a rematch against Lincoln Park, the same team they beat in the district final. And they won that one in a much tighter contest at 55-52. And I think when we look at some of the scores, Gary, the teams that were in the way of these two to get here, they've won games in the 50s, they've won games in the 70s, and that's what this matchup is all about. Again, it's about the pace of the play of this basketball game for this afternoon.
Yeah, we talked earlier about they can play in different ways other than just a blur, and that's what it is, that they're willing to play in the half court, particularly the Aliquippa. For the other team, Mastery Charter, we're not quite sure. A little bit of the unknown there. We'll find out in just a few moments how it all is going to play out.
We'll take a break. We'll come back, introduce you to the starting lineups, and have the tip-off of the boys' AA final.
If you think the...
And now, let's meet the starting lineups. First of all, for Mastery Charter North High School, head coach Terrence Cook, his assistant Gerald Johnson. Here's the starting 5 for the Pumas. He'll start at a forward. He'll wear number 1, 6-foot sophomore Harold Daly. Wearing number 10, a sophomore 6-foot forward Ramir Moore. Starting at point guard, a 5'11 junior, number 11, Eli Alvin. He's a senior, he's 6 foot. Starting at guard, number 12, Rodney Ross. And starting at forward, a junior, 6'4", number 25, Daquan Plowden, the Pumas of Mastery Charter North. And now, let's meet Aliquippa. Head coach, Nick Lakovich. Assistant, Dwight Hines. Here's the starting 5 for the Quips. He's a 5'10 senior guard. He's wearing 0, Sheldon Jeter. He'll start at the guard. He'll wear number 1, a senior 5'10, Jasir Jordan. He's a 6'2 forward. He's a junior, wearing number 5, Robert Crute. Starting forward, 6'6 senior, number 13, Charles Humphrey. And starting in the forward, 6'3 senior, number 23, Kazon Pugh, the Quips of Aliquippa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you please rise for the presentation of our country's colors being presented by the Marion Center High School Air Force Junior ROTC, consisting of cadets Rachel Fleming, Mia Halvern, Sari Schultz, Jessica Wagner, under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Gary Wolbert. Ladies and gentlemen, our country's colors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you please remain standing as we honor the United States of America. Salute its leaders and members of the armed forces with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, to be sung today by Red Bank Valley High School senior, Miss Catherine Crawford. Ladies and gentlemen, we present with pride and much gratitude our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Captain Crawford, and may God bless.
Mastery Charter North, Aliquippa. That is the matchup for the boys AA championship, and a little bit of a change for Mastery North in terms of their starting lineup. Vermeer Moore had been coming off the bench. The sophomore now was in the starting. And Crute is the only underclassman for the Quips. Mastery Charter North will be in the white uniforms, Aliquippa in the red, and it's the Quips who control the basketball. And again, Desir Jordan, highlighted in our open, is the guy that their head coach, Nick Lakowicz, said straight up, he's got to play better. We're going to win this basketball game. And they're 29-0, so you can't be too bad at that.
Looks like a matchup 3-2 zone coming out of the gate here.
They kick it up high to Crute, who goes to Humphreys baseline for two, and Chucky Humphreys has the first 2 points of the basketball game.
Good pass to the middle to pull the zone in, then kick back out to the corner. Nice easy jump shot to start the game.
Chucky Humphreys is committed to West Liberty College, one of the best Division II programs in the country, and a program that's scoring close to 100 points a game on average. Here's a little penetration. Eli Alvin with a floater with a left hand trying to go up and over Humphreys and gets open over the rim and out of bounds.
Aliquippa opened up the 2-3 zone, and it was just kind of not a very good selection of shot there to start out today.
Our officials in today's game, Robert Bosak, Kevin Boylan, and Jim Barker out of District 11. They are on the whistles this afternoon, an honor for the officials as well as the teams to get chosen for this state championship matchup as they go inside and they find Kazan Pugh, and Pugh draws contact and will step to the foul line and shoot 2.
What you had that time was Jordan. Good penetration to the baseline. Make the back line react to the point guard. When they come up and create space behind them, you dump it off. You got the easy shot inside. Instead, go to the line right here.
Kazan Pugh averaging at 8 points per game. His future is on the gridiron as opposed to the basketball floor. He has already committed he will head to Pitt next year. He helped take the Quips to the AA football championships, where they end up as the runner-up to Southern Columbia. Ran for almost 5,000 yards as a running back. Outstanding linebacker as well. And Kazan Pugh puts the Quips on top 3-0 on his 1 out of 2 at the foul line. There's a distant 3 that hits nothing but glass off the hands of Rodney Ross, and a run out for Aliquippa, and goaltending will be the end result. Sheldon Jeter will get the bucket as Eli Alvin got high, but gets goaltending instead.
Now, here's one of the things you want to look at right here. When you miss the long shot, the long rebound comes out. Watch this. Ball coming down off the board, goaltending. You miss that long shot, you might as well make that the first pass out in your outlet. For Aliquippa, that's like raw meat. They're off and running.
And it's a 5-0 start as a result for Aliquippa. Plowden will fire up a long 3, long rebound. Harold Daly with that rebound cannot convert. And the outlet pass, a dangerous one, but Jeter will make the grab ahead to Jordan, and he'll wait for help.
They cover 75 feet in 2 passes. That's how quickly they're going to get the ball out on. They're looking to throw deep every time.
Nick Lakowicz said he wanted Desir Jordan to make better decisions. He just made a good one there and waiting for help, and they set up their offense. They get Crute inside, who gets the bucket.
And look at the difference so far. Aliquippa working the ball inside, getting the inside shots, no running possibilities for Mastery. Mastery taking the long shots, getting burned on the other end. And on the comeback on the transition.
And a fast start for Aliquippa leads to an early timeout for the Pumas. They'll call a 30. As they get Crute inside, strong off the glass for Robert Crute, and it's a 7-0 jump for Aliquippa.
Aliquippa is attacking here in the half court, right from the top of the key. You can't get any decent weak side help there, and they're going right down the middle. They're finding the baseline wide open.
Don't miss the PIAA Swimming and Diving Championships next weekend here on PCN, March 25th through the 28th, on cable or on live right now with the PCN Select, as are the games from yesterday. If you missed any of the action from yesterday's Day 1 coverage, that too is available. You can watch at your convenience any of the games from yesterday's Day 1 coverage on that using that PCN Select app. Left side, left three from the wing. Rodney Ross gets Mastery Charter on the board finally.
What I like that time is Ross actually just kind of set his feet, took a little more time, got the shot off in rhythm, gets the first 3 of the game.
7-3 now is the result, as Jordan will give it up to Humphreys, who gives it up to Jeter at the top, will pop for 3 and bury it.
But I'll tell you what, nice job just getting points out of their offense. That's a set piece right there, and Jeter nails it for the best look of the house, top of the key.
Jeter now with half of the 10 for Aliquippa. As Alvin goes inside, the defense cuts off the pass. They get back out top. Benford Jones into the game at the timeout for Mastery Charter. Chucky Humphreys with block number 1.
Problem right now, you see early from Mastery Charter, they don't have a legitimate post inside, so they're not getting any inside touches now. Everything is perimeter oriented. There, they tried to go inside and got it swatted out.
Humphreys now will come out high. He'll set the screen. Jordan finds the back door, finds Kazon Pugh, who has 2 more.
And they're making a living there on that baseline. Dead center coming down the middle again. Make the back man come up, and they can find the baseline wide open, getting in behind the defense.
Got to get a lot of body on Kazon Pugh if you're going to slow him down. He is used to contact. Benford Jones with a penetration. Chucky Humphreys with block number 2, and here come the Quips. Jordan finds Jeter, who lost the handle on it. Aliquippa will turn it over for the first time.
There again, here they come in transition. That's going to wear you out. If you know every single time they're coming that fast. And again, Mastery's played a lot of good teams during the course of the season. They may not have seen a team this mature in the transition game.
Yeah, and it's a learning process, and we talked with Nick Lakovich about that, what they learned from last year, and a lot of it was dealing with the environment, dealing with the situations in the state finals. They go inside, and Rodney Ross has all 5 now for Mastery Charter.
Nice job that time of penetrating the 2-3 zone down the middle, and then got the dish off to the man sliding down the lane. Good play that time by Mastery.
12-5 now is the result, as Jordan goes inside, too hard off the glass, fight for the rebound, still loose on the floor. Crute goes down to his knees to try to get it. Jeter saves it, finds Humphreys, and he's bumped and fouled. 3 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in quarter number 1 in the boys AA final. And we'll take a timeout from Hershey with Aliquippa on top with Mastery Charter by a 12-5 score.
2 out of 8. Therein lies the great difference. The type of shot you're getting, generally the inside close shot, down the middle, dumping it off, and then the outside shot from Mastery.
Ball tipped out of bounds, and the officials will look and confer and say stay with Aliquippa basketball. Here's a good look at Terrence Cook. We had a great conversation with him before the basketball game about what it's been like for him in building this basketball program. Aliquippa gets Humphreys, who finds Jasir Jordan right back to the inbounder, and he misses the 3. Tipped around and still loose, and finally controlled by Daquan Plowden and Mastery Charter. Eli Alvin with the basketball. He'll kick it to the corner. Ross has his shot blocked. Humphreys with block number 3, and his outlet pass ahead. And it will be Sheldon Jeter blocked on the other hand by Plowden, but Crute is there for the putback.
Crute did the perfect thing there. He was playing that as a miss the whole way, was ready to clean up the miss afterward, and that's what makes Aliquippa so good. You don't just have one guy going in, everybody's charging the basket.
As a result, it's now a 14-5 advantage as Crute has 4. Try to force it inside. They find Benford Jones along the baseline. Inside presence of Javad Fields into the game for Aliquippa, denies that shot. And the Jasir Jordan and Aliquippa Quips have it back on top by 9 and looking for more. They get inside to Jeter, works his way through traffic and finds 2 more.
Where they hit them, every time there's paint under their feet when they're coming down. They're right down the middle of the lane, and they're getting the shots they want every time. Good close-in shot. Watch their zone here. Watch how tight the top 2 men are. This is really hard to attack because they collapse on you right away if you try to go hard, so they're shooting from the outside like that.
And Plowden, again, the tallest player out there, the really only inside presence, has 2 shots in this game, and they're both in that spot. Missed the first 3, buries that 3, and that's a big help, however, for Mastery Charter. It makes it a 16-8 game as a result.
You got to shoot at an incredibly high percentage, though, if you're going to stay with that 3-point shot the whole game. Right now, they're down by 8.
And again, your tallest player is now 17, 18, 20 feet from the basket. Inside the Fields, back to Jordan. 4 of the starting 5 for Aliquippa has scored. Jasir Jordan, their distributor, has not. Jeter, off-balance shot. Not sure if that was intended as a pass. It doesn't matter. Here comes Mastery Charter on a 3-on-1, and Plowden will finish.
There's what happens. You get a turnover right away. Mastery Charter does to Aliquippa what they do so many other people. Quick turnaround on the other end. They live off steals.
And it was Eli Alvin with the steal at the assist, Plowden with the finish, and as a result, all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game, advantage Aliquippa. Jordan off the screen. Waves Robert Groot away, gives it up to Jeter instead. Field trying to set up shop. They won't let him get the basketball on the low post. And you see Jordan and Sheldon Jeter right now, not sure what they want to do with it. Their coach instead is going to call a timeout. 1 minute, 28 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 16-10 Aliquippa trying to reverse history. Last year they were here again at 29-0, and they took on a newcomer to some degree as last year as well in Conwell Egan. Out of the Philadelphia Catholic League, Conwell Egan, however, got the early advantage, and they kept that advantage. They came away with a 62-51 lead, a win as a result. Aliquippa got themselves in some early foul trouble, and Conwell Egan took advantage of it. Despite the outside shooting of Aliquippa in that basketball game, Stephon McGinnis had 17, Jasir Jordan had 13, but it was LaPree McCray Pace, 22, Stevie Jordan had 21. As Egan took advantage of it in the foul line down the stretch. Conwell Egan went 19 out of 23 at the foul line in the second half, and Nick Lakovich and Aliquippa suffered their first loss, and it was in the state championship game.
Conwell Egan fighting to get back in this year, lost to Camp Hill, who was then beaten by Mastery here in the game to get to this one.
Jasir Jordan does not make the decision. That time his coach would like, but Humphrey's back at the other end of the block. Plowden has scored 7 straight on the follow.
Well, same thing I said a moment ago about Aliquippa. Run the floor, attack the basket. If you're going to get a miss, follow it up with a good offensive rebound. You saw it right there.
A 7-0 run for Mastery Charter, and it's all been the big man, DeQuan Plowden. Again, Jordan goes inside, and they're going to call the offensive foul, and it was Plowden who absorbed the charge.
And here's where Jordan, coach, was talking about decision making. Now look at this. You missed the shot. But the players running after you, look at that. 3 players standing around waiting to get the offensive rebound, all in white uniforms.
So Plowden has taken over this basketball game right now for Mastery Charter. And again, Nick Lakovich is all about the decisions of his point guard. He's made 2 that he's not real happy about. And now it's Jamar Mike into the game, and Jordan will come out. Here's a run out, and it's Jeter ahead of the pack, and he'll add the 7-0 run for Mastery Charter.
We had a short leash on Jordan. He's saying, hey, you made 2 bad decisions, you mentioned, Bob, so you got to get him over there, readjust and say, this is what I want you to do.
And as a result of that, out of the defensive presence of Aliquippa, they get the leak out for Sheldon Jeter, who's having a big first quarter. He's already got 9. The lead is 6 for the Quips. Handling the basketball right now for Mastery Charter is Asa Kitchen. As we said, originally he was supposed to be in the starting lineup. He comes off the floor as Mastery Charter is going to hold for one last shot here, down to the final 10 seconds of quarter number 1.
So many times you see teams go in too late. I think this is going in too late right now.
Trying to get the shot off. The Kitchen with the penetration to kick out. Eli Alvin beats the buzzer, but the end result comes up empty. But it is Aliquippa after 1 on top of Mastery Charter. The score, the Quips 18, the Pumas 12 when we come back to Hershey. Team in the state of Pennsylvania against the defending state champion in Roman Catholic. That too promises to be a great matchup. We start quarter number 2, and it's Mastery Charter with the basketball. Great hesitation fake, but unable to finish was Asa Kitchen, and back comes Aliquippa. On the run out, Robert Groot will wait for help. Sheldon Jeter, Jasir Jordan back in the game to start the second quarter for the Quips. Dejan Pugh comes out high. Jeter, a long 3 that's well short, and a box out and a rebound by Eli Alvin and Mastery Charter. Benford Jones, bumped and fouled.
What do they say about the long 3s that are missed? Outlet on the break for both these teams. What was really the recipe for success in the early going here for the Quips was the fact that they were attacking the basket. There you see what happens when you shoot that long three, and right away you're running backwards, and Mastery Charter's running right at you.
And Jasir Jordan just picked up his second foul. So early on in the quarter number 2, Jasir Jordan is going to have to come out. There's the box out. Eli Alvin actually picks the basketball up off the bounce. That's good box out. You're getting the ball off the floor. You've done your job on the box out.
They call it the perfect rebound.
And now it's Jones at the foul line. Benford Jones makes 1 out of 2. That was his first point. Second shot obviously no good, and it's a 5-point advantage for the Quips. Again, Jordan now out of the game after picking up his second foul for Aliquippa. Jamar Mike, who was in for him a moment ago, back there, the 5'9" sophomore. Chucky Humphreys has it stripped momentarily by Jones. Now Jeter comes out to help bail him out at the top. They find Kazon Pugh nowhere to go. They'll reset the offense.
They're still playing the matchup, but they've spread it way far out, and it's really causing problems right now for the Quips, especially on any kind of ball screens because they hedge out so well.
Pugh open at the foul line, hesitated for a moment. Shot will be fired from 3-point range. Off the mark by Jamar Mike, and here comes the run out once again, and Rodney Ross will finish.
What that extended matchup has done now, it's turned Aliquippa into an outside shooting team. They've gotten forward into it instead of attacking the basket as they were before, and there's what you see on the other side. Back in the Mastery's game, which is running off the miss.
And as a result, the Pumas are within 3.
Look at that defense. It's all but a man-to-man, but they're actually playing man-to-man in one particular zone of the floor.
And they have really, as Gary said, spread it out with the entire defensive half court. And Aliquippa has become hesitant. Jeter will travel, turnover, Quips their third.
See, everything now is east and west. It was north and south. Here's the miss. Look at that. First pass out in the fast break, and here's what happens. You finish it real easy, and that's exactly where Mastery wants to play this game.
Asa Kitchen with the assist, and Terrence Cook's team has the basketball, and they're a 3-pointer away from tying this game up, a game they once trailed by 11. Ball loose on the floor. Plowden dives down to get it, but Jeter will take it away. Mastery Charter will return the turnover with one of their own. Jasir Jordan back in the game. Penetration, floater, off the rim, no good. Ball tipped out of bounds, and it will be Charter basketball.
They got a low percentage shot. What Mastery did, they weren't playing such a good half-court game, so instead of getting better at the half-court game, they said, let's see if we can turn this into a full-court game. They basically turned Aliquippa into an east-west team now. They're not going to the basket anymore, and they're getting rebounds and able to run in the other direction and make it a full-court game.
Harold Daly back into the game for Mastery Charter. And Plowden will fire for another 3. He's now 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, and he's in double figures, and we're tied.
And in the half-court game, they're beating the percentages on the 3 right now. So if you can continue to do that, it's not a bad recipe for the moment for Mastery Charter.
Quips scored the first 7 and jumped out to a 16-5 lead. We are tied at 18. Different level of basketball right now for Mastery Charter. They have weathered the Quips early storm.
They started out with a passive 3-2 matchup zone, and then Coach Cook got them to come out another 2 steps, and they are just chasing now every look at this.
Jasir Jordan will step back move, penetration, off-balance shot, not there, and Robert Crute steals away the rebound. Jordan again inside, not there. Humphreys with the tip.
I'll tell you what, Humphreys is having an outstanding game on both ends of the floor so far. He has really been the difference maker for Aliquippa.
Now Mastery Charter playing at that up-tempo pace, playing a little bit too fast, and Terrence Cook's team will turn it over for the second straight time. Quips get it back now on top by the deuce. Chucky Humphreys with that deuce. He's got 4, and here it is. Off the putback, Chucky Humphreys, 6'6", and a great leaper with the putback. Jordan trying to shake loose the defense of Benford Jones. Humphreys alone at the foul line. Too hard. Tip, controlled, Rodney Ross and Mastery Charter. Outlet pass up ahead. Plowden went up right through his hands. 3 straight Puma turnovers.
There's fast, there's faster, there's too fast. That was too fast. Try to get it down there, but I'll tell you what, high wire acts both these teams, and they'll take those kind of chances and they'll absorb those kinds of turnovers every now and then because they create so many new possessions.
Terrence Cook's team turned it over once in the first 8 minutes. They've turned it over 4. We have not yet played 4 minutes of the second quarter. Team down by 2. Jeter going to pop for 3, buries it. Sheldon Jeter in double figures.
What made that a good shot that time was they took their time, they set it up, and took it right out of the rhythm of the offense and buried it, had his feet set.
Averages 8 points per game. He's got 10. He had 14 in the big win over Bishop Canavan, a 28-point win in round 2. They find Benford Jones. He missed it. The long arm of Chucky Humphreys perhaps in his head.
What an unbelievable pass underneath, though, that time by Alvin to get him.
Ducky Humphries already has 4 blocks in this first half, and once you start to see that, you start having hesitations. And that may be what got Benford Jones just 5'8" inside. Quips with a 5-point lead now and 3:35 left in the first half.
Still the matchup zone. You see them pointing as they're just switching off. They have certain areas and certain slides that they're covering right now.
Pulls Humphries a long way from the basket. He's going to change that by putting it on the floor and off the glass as well. His own putback is not there. Plowden pulls down the rebound. Here come the Pumas. Eli Alvin lost the handle on it. Turnover right back.
Yeah, but you don't have a layup. You got to pull it back out and realize you're in a half-court situation there. Alvin just a little bit late to the dance on that one.
Tried to spin out of trouble and spun himself into worse trouble. Robert Crute doesn't have anything. He'll kick it back to Jeter between the circles.
Still the matchup right here.
Hesitation move. Jeter off the glass for 2 more.
That's what they have to get back to. Jeter hunted and hunted that time until he got the little bit of sliver of daylight he needed, went right to the rack.
The lead quickly grows right back up to 7 for Aliquippa. Ross for 3 is hard off the glass. Long rebound. Alvin tried to run it down, fighting Jordan with a basketball, and they're going to call the foul on Jasir Jordan. That's going to be his 3rd. It's going to lead us to a break as the Aliquippa Quips have a lead, but some issues when we come back to Hershey. It's 25-18, Aliquippa on top. Our conversation with Aliquippa coach Nick Lakovich before the game, and we said, what did you learn from last year's game? We said we got to learn that games officiated differently around the state of Pennsylvania, and as a result, Jasir Jordan right now on the bench with 3 first-half fouls for Aliquippa. Their senior point guard will sit out the rest of this second quarter. There's still 2:40 left to go. Right now, the Quips on top by 7 points on a 7-0 run for the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And the quick 3 by Eli Alvin is well short. Aliquippa with a quick rebound. Not much on the offensive glass early on for Mastery Charter. Sheldon Jeter taking over this game offensively for Aliquippa with 12. And taking over the ball handling responsibilities as the point as well with Jordan on the bench.
The big difference in the second quarter here for this team, Mastery, is they basically shut off the northwest penetration for the most part. Right here they get some more, right here.
Great job by Jeter, but Crute could not finish. Plowden had the rebound, but Crute slapped it away from behind. It's another turnover for Mastery Charter. As a result, they're 6th in this quarter. Jeter sees an opening. Blocked. Harold Daly had the block, and Plowden has it back. Alvin sees an opening. Eli Alvin with the left hand and the finish for his first 2.
Eli Alvin was taking that shot out here at half court, but what really set it up at the end was he looked the man off 1 step and was able to create a sliver to get on through for the easy layup.
Alvin is their 2nd leading scorer. Plowden at 15 a game. Alvin at 14, and he's been really good in the PIAA playoffs. Kazon Pugh makes the pass. Crute missed the shot. Pugh has the rebound and fouled as Daly goes up and tries to get the ball away from Kazon Pugh. Good luck with that.
You couldn't have drawn that play up any better. Watch this. You got to pick and roll. And first of all, you're going to get the score on the other end from Alvin. You'll see him come down. Watch him look the man off right at the end. See it right there. Looks him off, and then gets in for the easy layup. And then the other side, we got a pick and roll. Good penetration of the basket. Got the baseline man to come up. You had a baseline man offensively open and missed the second straight layup.
Crute comes out. Back into the game comes 6'3" junior Javad Fields as Aliquippa will inbound. Team fouls right now even at 3 apiece. Fields, Jeter, Humphries. Also into the game is Jamar Mike, along with Kazon Pugh, the 5 on the floor right now for the Quips. Humphries needs somebody to come to the basketball. Mike, Jeter, back to Fields, off the glass, too strong.
3rd straight layup missed.
Back comes Mastery Charter, down by 5. Rodney Ross tries for the step back, lost the handle on it. Eli Alvin right back to Ross in the corner. He's going to pop from distance for 2, in and out. Offensive rebound, Plowden, and 2 more.
Well, I'll tell you what, Plowden is really working around the basket. We talked about Humphries for Aliquippa. The other big guy, Plowden, is getting it done inside and outside so far.
He's got 12, and his 2nd offensive putback of this first half inside of 40 seconds to go in half number 1. Aliquippa 25, Mastery Charter North now pulls within 3 at 22 with 30 seconds to go. Quips going to go a little 4 corners here for one last shot, perhaps.
shows how wide the spacing is in this defense. Watch it collapse here when the ball starts to come to the middle.
Mastery Charter has fouls to give should they choose to play it that way. Humphreys with 12 on the clock. Back to Jeter. There's the foul. Again, they've got fouls to give before they go into the bonus. That'll be team foul number 5 against Mastery Charter, so they can still commit one more foul now with 8.8 seconds to go before Aliquippa's at the line. Foul's on Benford Jones, his first, team number 5. Excuse me, team number 4. So they've got 2 more fouls to give with 8.8 to go. Jeter on the spread. Step back, elbow jump shot is too short. Long rebound in the hands of Eli Alvin, and that will end the first half. Aliquippa had the early push. Mastery Charter North pushed right back. And after 2 quarters of play, it's the Quips 25, the Pumas 22. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills on our halftime show when we return to Hershey live on PCN.
Center in our boys 2A champion Aliquippa trying to reverse their fortunes from a season ago. Had 11-point lead, but it has been trimmed to just 3 here at intermission. Welcome back to our halftime report. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills. Jim, a game of runs in this opening half. I think one of the things that really is evident, you know, if both these teams are going to launch threes, someone needs to get back on defense.
No question about it, Mike. Every time somebody launches something, they're really not back on defense, and it's been a track meet both ways. Both teams guilty on that half.
No question. For Mastery Charter, a nice job of coming back from an early 11-point deficit, and it was spearheaded by Daquan Plowden.
Yeah, Plowden is a very, very good player. He was a public league MVP in Division C, and you can see why. He can hit the outside jump shot. He can go inside and do a lot of things as well. He's great off the break. Good job of protecting the ball right there. Then you're going to see a follow. A good job with a rebound right there. He's good at getting the ball down the floor to his teammates. Here he's going to come in with a dunk on a follow. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah, he had that great surge in there and shows you a little range to that jump shot as well as he knocks it down. He had 10 of their first 18 points. Well, for Aliquippa, it was a combination of a couple of things, and I think it certainly started with the play of Sheldon Jeter.
No question about it. Jeter averages 8 points a game. Right now he's at 12, Mike, and he's done everything in his power to keep the Quips on target here. Here you see the leak out, does a great job of being inside, going to the foul line. Here you're going to see an outside jump shot. Very confident young man here this afternoon. You're going to see him inside, use his body very, very well to get himself inside. Again, he's got the pass up start. He is the leak out man, and when he gets going, they know he's down the court very quickly. And as I said, hit the 3 very, very good.
Yeah, actually a bonus for them to see him score those kind of points. I think the guy who really has an impact on this game at both ends of the floor is Charlie Humphreys.
Yeah, Humphreys last year, you know, played a little bit that wasn't as good as he could have. This year, I think he's back with a vengeance. You're going to see him right here go up and make a block. That was a big block early in the ball game in that first quarter. Then you're going to see him put his body in charge. He lets that guy run into him. He doesn't hit him, which was good, and he gets that ball there. There you're going to see another block that he puts it out there, and now you're going to see him go down the floor, giving that ball to Jeter. That's been very successful for them here in that first half.
And a good job running the court again by the Quips. Transition game has produced a good number of the offense in this first half. Let's start with Aliquippa. We both thought that they got a little antsy, a little frustrated in that first half. And, of course, Jazir Jordan with 3 fouls is a concern.
Exactly. That's a big concern, Mike. Plus the fact they missed 3 layups right there at the end of the second quarter. They got to be more patient. They got to be more concentrating on the shots, and they got to watch the fouls.
How about Mastery Charter real quickly?
I think they need to go back to that zone where they brought it out a lot more, which was what happened in that second quarter when they got back in the game.
Should be a great second half of basketball. Here are your boys. AA champion to be determined, a 3-point edge for Aliquippa. Bob and Gary to take us home when we return.
And the Pumas right now trailing the Quips 25-22 alongside Gary Sutton. My name is Bob McCool. Gary, we told you at the beginning of this basketball game, this was a game that was going to be played at a fast pace. We weren't lying to you, especially for Mastery Charter. The Pumas, when they scored offensively, they were able to do it in that transition game.
Yeah, they really were. But what happened earlier, they couldn't get into the transition game because what Aliquippa was doing was getting the ball inside, doing a nice job of penetrating, getting baseline people wide open. We'll see that in just a few moments. And they weren't allowing them to run. When they started shooting it outside, that changed the whole thing. And part of that was because Mastery Charter changed their defense. But watch this. Here's Mastery Charter. When they run, they are devastating. And there you see the big guy finishing it off right there. And once again, coming to the basket hard, the big guy follows in, plowed, dunks it away.
And it was then Eli Alvin who took matters into his own hand a little bit. He's the distributor and now the scorer as well as he scores. And Rodney Ross got the fast start for Mastery Charter, scoring 5 of his 7 in quarter number 1. However, Aliquippa, who had that big jump, they scored the first 7 points of this basketball game and then pushed it out to 16-5, thanks in large part to distribution of the basketball early on.
Yeah, they saw Crute finish it off there again. Get in behind the zone there and lay it up again. That time they finish it off with Pugh. And then one more time, get inside, find their way to get it up there, and saw Crawford on the boards. But then it went to more of an outside game there in the second quarter, and they relied a little bit more on this kind of thing. And finally at the end, getting back to where they started, driving the ball to the basket, a nice touch off the glass. I think that's probably what Coach Lakovich is talking about at halftime. Let's get north and south again here instead of east and west.
We take a look at the numbers for Aliquippa, pretty efficient. They started out by going 5 out of the first 6, but end up still at 39%. Mastery Charter 36% again going in that transition game. 3 field goals from beyond the arc from Mastery Charter to help them keep them in this basketball game. Turnovers mounted a little bit for the Pumas. They only turned over 1 time in the first quarter. They gave it back 5 more times in the second. And then you see the leading scorers. Plowden, as Gary talked about, he was a difference maker throughout the first half with 12 first half points. Rodney Ross, as we said, 5 in the first quarter, 7 in the first half. Sheldon Jeter, right now the offensive machine for Aliquippa with 12 with the Quips 25. Jordan will start the second half playing again with those 3 fouls. The starting 5 back out there for the Quips.
Watch him carefully here to start second half and see how aggressive he is with those 3 fouls.
Gives it up to Robert Crute, puts it on the floor, gets himself close and kisses it off the glass.
Well, I'll tell you what, does Robert Crute get up strong? I mean, he's quick off his feet, but his upper body goes right up to any kind of contact. Oh, great move there.
Eli Alvin with the counter with the left hand high above Chucky Humphreys for 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, that ball came down when it was that high up off the glass. Great move by Alvin.
27-24, excuse me, a game back to a 3-point game, and now it's Jordan working his way inside, absorbs the contact, and Jasir Jordan will shoot 2.
Now, if you're watching Mastery right now, and you're thinking they're switched to man-to-man, they haven't. They're still playing a zone, but you'll see right here, the back guys come up. That's a pretty close call right there. He went up pretty darn straight that time. It was a long time before they called the foul on that one.
Jasir Jordan, leading scorer for Aliquippa on the season at 17 points per game, gets his first at the foul line, and it comes 44 seconds into the second half. And he's 2 for 2 at the foul line, puts the Quips back up by 5 at 29-24.
Nice stroke from Jordan on both those.
Eli Alvin with a basketball in his hands. To Ross, to the corner to Ramir Moore.
I really like the way Aliquippa plays their 2-3 zone. They keep their people tight at the top, and they make the attempt to go either around it and then the side, because you're not going to go down the middle on the 2 guards at top.
Daquan Plowden, Benford Jones starts the second half for the Pumas as Alvin tries to feed it along the baseline, but too hot for Rodney Ross to handle. Turnover number 7.
This is the way the game started here. Half court not so good for Mastery Charter. You can see Coach over there, Coach Cook, a little upset about that. What they did do there, well, they screened on the guard because it is so tight at the top, trying to get around the corner. They had the seam, they just threw it away.
Well, what championship teams do, they turn it around with their defensive effort in that second quarter. Here's Jordan popping for 3, hits the front of the iron, and here comes the run out with Eli Alvin. Poke from behind, Robert Crute forces the turnover. Jordan up, no good, but draws the foul. Jasir Jordan will be back in the strike.
When Jordan took that last 3 shot, I looked over at Coach Lakovich, and he was kind of walking down saying, that's not the shot I want. I want us to attack the glass here and start the second half. Good job, though, by Jordan coming back here, getting the steal, and down the court, making a good decision, goes to the line for 2.
Credit Robert Crute with the poke from behind to knock that loose. And so Mastery Charter with some foul or some turnover difficulties, in that second quarter. And again here to start the third with 2 quick ones. And Jordan trying to make them pay for it at the foul line. Makes the first and the second. So 4 straight at the stripe for Jasir Jordan. And the lead now grows to 6 for the Quips. Excuse me, 1 out of 2. It's a 6-point lead at 30-24.
There again, you see in the half court here, Mastery Charter is not as comfortable as they are in the full court. So let's see if they extend that defense out here again and start to, and I'll tell you what Aliquippa's done in the second half. They flattened out their offense to the baseline. They're trying to misshape that matchup zone. That's what you do. Either use it with motion or you flatten it out. They flattened it out.
Chucky Humphreys can't get the ball down the low blocks as he's pushed out by Ramir Moore. Jordan with the penetration partially blocked, and Rodney Ross with the block and the keep for Mastery Charter.
But you can see what they've done by flattening that thing out. They're able to go north and south better.
Mastery Charter with the follow. Daquan Plowden thunders it home.
With an exclamation point at the end, like a rip off that rim.
He brought that back down to his hip and then threw it back down. Daquan Plowden with 14 now. Here's Chucky Humphreys the other way. He can sky, and he takes the bucket and the foul. Plowden tried to get the offensive foul. They got him for a step under instead, and Humphreys will try to make this a 3-point play. Watch the drive by Humphreys, and again, here is the follow by Daquan Plowden.
Look at this. And then just takes his hands off there as over with some real energy. I mean, wow. Big time move there by Plowden. Here's a guy I think they need more touches here for Aliquippa, Chucky Humphreys. I think what he scored right now is kind of an accident. They need to get him touches in the middle and let him go to work like he just did a moment ago.
Averages 15 points per game. He goes for the 3-point play here to give him 7. And the lead is 7 as well for the Quips at 33-26. 5:25 left to go in quarter number 3. Ross has it stripped. Ball loose. Groot comes away with it. Jasir Jordan going to try to run the floor and bumped and fouled in the process by Asa Kitchen.
You see the middle of that zone, when you try to attack it down the middle, it just sloughs down like an umbrella, close it up on you. That's exactly what the Quips are doing really, really well here in their defensive end.
First on Kitchen, 4th on the Pumas in the second half. Humphreys, Kazon Pugh, Jasir Jordan within the corner. Groot comes out to set the screen along with Sheldon Jeter. And there's a strip and a takeaway. Ball taken away by Kitchen, and then Pugh trying to get it back, commits the foul.
But Kitchen was just anticipating that next pass the whole way. Take a look at that. Look at the zone here. Watch it. Go to the middle and watch it just close down like an umbrella. And those hands in there right away. Great shot from our PCN crew up above.
First foul of the second half against Aliquippa. Here's Plowden for the baseline, and 2 more for Daquan Plowden.
Boy, is Plowden showing you every part of the game here tonight. Inside with the dunk, outside, along the baseline with a high jump shot.
Terrence Cook told us before the game that the goal of his program is to get his players exposure for Scott College. College coaches right now trying to find Daquan Plowden in the phone book. Jordan off the screen for 2.
I think maybe benching Jordan there at the end of the quarter. I mean, he had 3 fouls, he kind of had to, but still, sit him down. He may have had a chance to kind of refocus.
Plowden maybe stepping out a little bit too far beyond his reach as he put that one up almost from the player's bench. Comes up short from beyond the arc, and the Quips on the boards.
Coach Cook said something toward the way by. Here they go.
Clear out. Jasir Jordan finds an opening and takes advantage.
What they have done this quarter has Aliquippa really smart move by Coach Lakovich. They've spread it to the baseline, 1-4, and it's made the matchup responsibilities a lot different here for Mastery, and as a result, they're back to being a north-south driving team here in the second half.
Jasir Jordan had no points at halftime. He's got 7 in this quarter, and here's another takeaway by Aliquippa. Off the block shot, Aliquippa has it back.
And their 2-3 on the other end has become stifling on the inside.
Inside the halfway mark of quarter number 3. Quips on top by 10 and looking for more, but they'll turn it back. And right back, Mastery Charter throws it away for their 4th turnover of this quarter, 10th of the game, and the lead for Aliquippa is 10 as well. Aliquippa 38, Mastery Charter 28. We return to Hershey in quarter number 3.
They've also, on the other end, with the 2-3 zone, created 4 turnovers for Mastery. They've given up only 2 turnovers this quarter, and they are scoring off those turnover opportunities.
A 13-6 advantage in this third quarter for Aliquippa to get that 3-point lead up to 10, and it's been Jasir Jordan making the difference. Again, at a point in the first half, had 3 fouls at the break as well. He's got 8 as they've taken him off the point now and put Sheldon Jeter on the point instead. They bring Humphreys out high. Now Jasir Jordan will have the basketball, guarded by Eli Alvin. Now they'll switch off on that matchup zone. Jordan, the quarterback. Garrity, of course, is the Jeter was the quarterback on the football team at the state championship game. And Jasir Jordan again on the clear out with the take and the 2.
Coach Lakovich was still shaking his head, but I'll tell you what, there's a heck of a move there by Jordan. He's feeling it this quarter. He really took it hard to the rack that time.
On the opposite side, there's Plowden, and tipped by Crute. Plowden went for the dunk. Crute got a piece of it, but he got a piece of Plowden as well.
Well, I'd love to see that meeting at the top of the rim that time, because Crute was up there. Plowden was up big. Watch this. He goes up, comes across from the weak side, gets him on the arm. But I'll tell you what, great effort to try to block that shot.
And Plowden at the foul line.
It's one of those, not my house.
Make him earn it at the foul line instead. Daquan Plowden at the stripe for the first time today. You see he's got 17 already and make it 18. 6 of them in this third quarter. And the lead is 10 again for Aliquippa at 40-30. And that's going to lead us to a timeout. 2 minutes, 57 seconds remaining in the third. 40-30. Aliquippa on top of Mastery Charter. Jasir Jordan, again, quiet in the first half. Different story in the third quarter.
Well, he sat down at the end of the second quarter with 3 fouls, but the third quarter, guess what? He is loud and clear on how he's going to play this game. He goes for the outside shot, buries it. Take a look at him here, coming hard to the basket. Lays it up strong, and then he comes back to the jump shot again. Watch this. Come in hard, going back, and not a jump shot this time, actually nice drive. Off the opposite foot. But a nice play by Jordan. He's come out and played hard here in the third quarter. A different kind of player than we saw in the first half.
Again, he averages 17 a game, which is tops on the Quips, who average 75 as a team. And Jasir Jordan with 10 in this quarter. And that's the difference, ironically enough, or maybe not so much, on the scoreboard. Aliquippa with the advantage by 10 as well.
It's really been interesting here what we've seen in the third quarter. We've seen Aliquippa come out by going to the 1-4, 4 guys across the baseline and the guard out front, which is Jordan. They basically made the matchup zone kind of non-existent. So I think what you saw the last time out, you saw Coach Cook come back out of the timeout and say, okay, they're going to do that. We got to play man-to-man. And they played man-to-man the last possession down and full court. So it's a real chess game going on right now within what you're seeing out here. But both teams making some pretty good moves here in the third quarter. A little bit at the danger point right now for Mastery, that 10-point lead for Aliquippa. But Mastery can score in a hurry. So 10 points, what you normally would think would be a big lead, can be erased in a matter of moments.
Quips looking for their first state championship win since 1997, and Jasir Jordan continues to get it done.
The middle wide open for him, and what's happening is, again, by flattening out the whole offense, Jordan going down the middle, and I liked how he took his time kind of putting that shot up.
And now he's got a tip and a run out and a feed to Jeter. Jeter with the left hand and the finish.
How smart was Jeter? He saw Ross coming in behind him, was going to block his shot, so he turned instead and switched over to his left hand and scooped it in.
Jeter, 12 in the first half. That's his first 2 of the second. Plowden, the bomb from 3 is short. Fight for the rebound. It's loose on the floor. Last touch, Aliquippa.
Said it's danger time right now. 14 points the Quips have put it out to here all of a sudden. Coach Cook knows it.
They were down by 11 was Mastery Charter in the second quarter. Fought back to tie it up. They're down by 14 right now and have the basketball. Plowden with a drive and the contact, and Daquan Plowden maybe stretching that offensive game with a 3-point shot just a little bit too far. Much better off doing what he just did there to draw the contact.
Well, I think right now Plowden senses that he's got to put his team on his back for the moment. He's taking the ball to the rack, took the outside shot. This time takes it where he lives the best, I think, inside.
Chucky Humphreys picks up the foul, just his first. The only player with more than 2 fouls for Aliquippa is Jordan, who had the 3. So fouls were an issue last year for Aliquippa. That has not been the case as Plowden misses the first of 2 here. And the second as well. Wasted trip there for Mastery Charter. You had the rebound stripped out of bounds by Ross, so it stays a 14-point advantage for Aliquippa and the basketball. Now Mastery Charter going to pick up full court. No problem for Jeter, and that run leads to a 3-on-2 as a result. Jordan, rather, with the shot off the mark. Plowden with a rebound and a reach-in foul on Crute. And our matchup coming up a little bit later on, another Western PA team in Alderdice will be here for the first time. They'll take on Roman Catholic, defending state champion. Alderdice, the Pittsburgh City League champion, trying to be the first team from the City League of Pittsburgh to win a state championship since Shenley did it in 2007. And another turnover. Mastery Charter is going to lead to a timeout called for the bench. Turnover number 5 in the quarter leads to a timeout for Mastery Charter. Down by 14 inside of 2 minutes to play in the third.
A tightening of that zone in the third quarter by Aliquippa has really made it tough on Mastery Charter. They have not yet solved that puzzle, and they've tried to penetrate kick. That time, again, looking east and west here instead of north and south so much for them this quarter.
Their win over Mars.
Talking to some friends down along the press road today, they said it might have been the most complete game they've seen here in all the years they've come here.
Girls Class A game played earlier today here at the Giant Center in Hershey. North Catholic with a win over Lourdes. Right now we're in the boys AA championship, and the lead for Aliquippa reaches 16 on the elbow jump shot by Kazan Pugh.
And Jordan just picked up his 4th foul. Just reached in. 1:32 to go here in the third quarter. Now you have to roll the dice. Do you make a decision to get him out of there? I think you probably do.
Well, you've got a cushion at least now to work with if you're Nick Lakovich. He will indeed send Jamar Mike back into the game as Jordan picks up his 4th with a minute 32 left to go in the third. And the Quips up by 16.
I just said a moment ago, offensively, Jordan made a great decision there. Slowed the offense down, got the ball to the right guy right at the foul line. Who made the jumper? So a good offensive decision before that.
The offensive foul is Benford Jones trying to make something happen. Wave the bucket off. Offensive foul, Mastery Charter.
Now you see Coach Cook raising his hands up. I'll tell you what, if we saw that again, an Oscar should go to Chucky Humphreys. He was falling down before the contact ever came. But hey, if you can sell it, buy it.
Right, and that's exactly what that's part of the situation is. Again, it's now Jeter handling the basketball. The absence of Jasir Jordan. Humphreys in trouble. Ball is poked loose. Body's diving on the floor, and they're going to go to the jump ball. Possession arrow is going to keep it in the favor of Mastery Charter. Sheldon Jeter is shaken up as his feet got tangled up with Eli Alvin. And we got a player injured on the other side. Benford Jones diving on the floor, got shaken up as well.
No lack of hustle all over the floor here in white, red, white uniforms. Look at this. Push it off. Robert's going to lose it right here, or Humphreys rather, and then it's going for the scrub.
You see Benford Jones got the arm bent backwards a little bit in the dive for the basketball. Sheldon Jeter shaken up on the play. And again, Daquan Plowden, talking about players who are trying to get some notice for the college coaches. Well, Daquan Plowden, this 6'6" junior, has certainly done that today.
Boy, he's that perfect rotation of the jump shot. Then he shows he can go to the basket. Watch this. On the baseline, he's getting it out. He runs it, throws it out there as well. Then watch him follow up with the dunk. We've seen a lot of players quick off their feet in this tournament. Another long 3 from Plowden. And here he comes again. And that was with authority.
Aliquippa couldn't get the ball in bounds, and so they'll call a timeout. Quips are now down to just 2 timeouts. We still have a minute 8 left to go. Sheldon Jeter was able to get back up and stay in the game. And again, Jasir Jordan on the bench right now with 4 personals. So the Quips will call the timeout to prevent the turnover. With a 16-point lead right now. Don't forget, we got more basketball coming your way tonight. We'll start it at 6 o'clock with the Girls AAA Championship. Archbishop Wood, a runner-up a year ago, will take on Villa Maria Academy. And then again, the defending state champion Roman Catholic will take on Alderdice in our boys Class A championship game to round out our weekend of basketball.
That has the potential to be a great final Big Four champion.
As a result of those 3 players going to Penn State, we'll talk about that obviously at length in tonight's game. But as a result of that, Penn State has one of its best recruiting classes in a long time and one of the top 15 ranked recruiting classes in the state of Pennsylvania. And you got Roman Catholic to thank for that, as Aliquippa again has trouble getting the ball in bounds, and it turns into a turnover for Aliquippa. The Pumas down by 16, get it back with a minute and change left to go in the third. Eli Alvin, kick out top. Harold Daly for 3, front of the rim. Fight for the rebound, and it's Kazan Pugh. Good luck getting away from him.
They got to get back hitting some of those threes. They overshot the 3 in the first half as far as percentage. This half, it's down. So you got to find a way to get some better quality efforts there if you're going to cut into this lead. Here's the flat baseline again. 1-4. What you do is try to let the point guard come off, either off the screen or out of the 1-4.
Jeter has his pocket pick. Ramir Moore with the takeaway. Moore trying to go from one end to the other, but he missed it. Cloud tipped it, but that's not there. And Pugh hustles down to pull down the rebound for Aliquippa. Final 15 seconds of the third. Humphries with the tuck, the bump, the foul before the shot.
Humphries going hard to the rack that time and is finally stopped at the baseline with a foul. But as I said, I think the more touches you can get the big guy's hands here, the better off you're going to be.
Foul called against the Pumas again was on the floor, so not a shooting foul with 13.5 left to go. They'll inbound. Jeter inside. Pugh on the post up off the glass and the touch for two.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Pugh went up, he literally glided across. He didn't have his head up yet. He turned his head and still got the shot off.
Harold Daly with a three to beat the buzzer, and he got bumped to the ground. And Harold Daly will shoot three with 0.4 of a second left to go. Nick Lakovich is beside himself right now.
He said, are you kidding me?
So Harold Daly puts up the three to beat the buzzer. Jeter gets called for the foul on the bump. And Daly now with a chance to take advantage of it. The sophomore at the line shooting three. First point of the game at the stripe for Harold Daly. Averages 5 a game. And he's trying to tell Nick Lakovich, right? Nick is trying to tell Sheldon Jeter, stay away from him.
I mean, you really have no business near the shooter when they're 40 feet away from the basket. I mean, just plain and simple.
Daly with the seconds. And 2 out of 3. Ramir Moore tipped it, but it's no good. Aliquippa with a solid third quarter, and as a result of that, trying to make it an unbeaten run in 2016. They got 8 more minutes to work. They lead at 48-32 when we come back to Hershey. Solid third quarter basketball for Aliquippa, and you see the end result with that in mind. A 48-32 advantage alongside Gary Sutton. My name is Bob McCool. Ready to start quarter number 4.
They tightened the 2-3 game. They took away any penetration inside by Mastery Charter. They went to the outside shot. They couldn't make it. And then they spread the 1-4 at the baseline. Were able to go penetrate south every time, get good shots. And that's the reason they're up right now by 16 as we go to the 4th.
Ramir Moore from the corner for 3, hits 10. Long rebound ends up in the hand of Allen. That shot is, or Alvin, excuse me, that shot is off the mark. Last out, tipped out of bounds by Aliquippa, so it'll stay Mastery Charter basketball.
I'm a little surprised that Jordan's back in there right now with his 4 fouls and a 16-point lead. I thought maybe they'd save him a little longer.
He gets his hands on that one, pokes it out of bounds. It's Eli Alvin, Rodney Ross, Daquan Plowden. Starting the 4th quarter on the floor is Asa Kitchen and Ramir Moore.
I wonder if he had a right out of pledge to Coach Lakovich. I will not get a 5th foul.
Great look inside off the baseline. Ramir Moore with the look, Ross with the finish, and the foul.
That's what he's going to do, is get the ball inside. I really like this Ross kid, the way he plays. Look at that, baseline penetration, get the man sliding down the middle. Nice, easy layup.
Chucky Humphries with the foul, his second, and Ross trying to finish off the three-point play at the line. Gets his own rebound, putback isn't there, and Humphries rips it down. 14-point advantage for Aliquippa. Jordan, great bounce pass to Crute, who couldn't catch it cleanly. Aliquippa will smart. Take it away and run the floor a little bit.
Nice patience for a team that's used to finishing right there. They didn't have a clean shot. Here goes Jordan.
On the clear out, Jordan with the contact will shoot 2 more. That is what the Quips have done pretty much since the start of this second half. They spread the floor, let Jordan attack the middle.
Well, what you're saying is, come help on him, and when you come help on Jordan, someone else is going to open up out there. So Jordan has really created the offense here out of this 1-4 very well in the second half.
Foul is on Rodney Ross. That's his first, putting Jordan at the foul line. Sear Jordan now 4 out of 5 at the stripe. Benford Jones back in as Asa Kitchen will come out now for the Pumas. And now Aliquippa will send everybody off the line. Make sure they're going to pick up a foul going over the back as Jordan will shoot the second. And make sure there's no reason for a rebound with this 14th point.
But Jordan just has such a great lift and nice smooth stroke there at the foul line.
Lead now for Aliquippa back up to 16.
There's been a key in the second half. See the top two guys? There's about 5-10 feet of space in between the two of them. You could never get right through the middle. So you got to either screen one of those guards and try to get around the corner or attack the middle right there.
Loudon gets it, picks it up off the floor, and puts it home.
So they attacked it from the side that side. They slid a guy right up in there, the high post, and found him open. He was able to get a nice little inside shot.
Daquan Loudon now with 20. A season high of 29 in the quarterfinal win over Trinity. They're back with 18 in the semifinals over Camp Hill and 20 so far today.
Looks like the old four corners here kind of modified.
With Jeter and Jordan both on the floor, who can handle?
We've got the four quarters here, the old Phil Ford, North Carolina four quarters. That's what we're looking at, all but.
Make them chase. Any foul will put you on the foul line in the bonus. Both teams over the limit with 7 fouls each.
They just try to spread them out, create driving lanes. They're not using any motion on this, so I'm not really looking for back doors or anything. It's just a driving lane for the guy in the middle, and then he'll kick it back out to the open man once there's a double team. There it is. Right back out.
Right back out to kill some clock. The Aliquippa fans are starting to love it in the corner behind the bench. Jordan finds an opening, blocked by Plowden, right back to Crute.
Get it back outside.
Double teamed in the corner. Jordan nowhere to go. Bounce it off the leg. A smart play there by Jasir Jordan in the air. Bounce it off the leg of Ramir Moore to save possession for the Quips.
I like the move by the Quips here. There's the block.
Loudon with the block. Hugh with the drive. Missed it. Gets his own rebound. Pump fake. Clears the pass.
Boy, the big guy has played a heck of a game inside. As he really goes up strong, this Kazan Hugh, and he puts it back there on the second effort.
9 now for the future Pitt Panther. Long three by Alvin is well off the mark. Crute rips down the rebound. Stripped out of bounds and fouled as well. And Aliquippa will walk and start the procession to the foul line in the bonus. Going to be Robert Crute will shoot a 1-on-1.
Aliquippa is totally, for the most part, taken away the inside game in the second half. That's what is left. It's a three-point shot. Mastery is not able to knock it down. Aliquippa now is in the driver's seat.
Foul going to be called on Ramir Moore. That'll be his second. Daquan Plowden also picking up a foul in this quarter. He's got 3. Right now it's Crute at the line. You see 6 points, 3 rebounds on the day, and looking for Moore on a 1-on-1. First one is good. Gets him another. Aliquippa watched Conwell Egan put on a free throw shooting clinic to beat them a year ago. Again, Conwell Egan went 19 out of 23 in the second half to finish off what turned into an 11-point win in the AA game a year ago. And right now, it's Aliquippa's turn at the line. They are 4 for 4 in this fourth quarter.
You know, Crute and Hugh are kind of the quiet warriors here for this Aliquippa team. They're the blue hat guys out there. They're out there getting it done the whole time, just throwing in the offensive part when they need to, but most of all, defensively, they have been so tough this game.
Lead is now 18 as a result, but Plowden will change that.
We've seen some guys quick off their feet in this tournament. I got to say, Plowden may be the quickest of the whole bunch that I've seen so far this whole tournament, getting up off his feet and using his size quickly.
He has put on a show inside and out in this game. And again, they'll spread the floor. Jordan with the ball on his hip.
The key here is you only take layups that are free. You don't take layups that can be blocked and go the other way.
If not, you better draw some contact in some case or another, and Jordan will get that on the reach-in attempt by Rodney Ross. It'll put Jordan at the foul line.
Good foul again. He gets up right away. Just that nice little pull-down dunk. So now you said the guy to the free throw line that just dynamite there, Jasir Jordan, your senior. That's who you want the ball in the hands of right now.
Asa Kitchen will now check back into the game for Mastery Charter with Jordan at the foul line. Again, they clear everybody out. Let Jasir Jordan shoot in a 1-on-1. And next, we'll put the Quips on the line in the double bonus. That's the 19th foul against Mastery Charter.
When Jordan's come back with a vengeance here in the second half, he has really played an outstanding floor game.
No points in the first half. And now 16 in the second. 4 for 4 at the foul line in this fourth quarter. That changes quickly with a 2 inside. Alvin with the bucket. He's got 6. Lead is 16. Bruce had a shot but didn't take it. That's part of what we're talking about. Better have yourself a layup, but here's a 5-second call instead. Nobody came to help out Robert Crute. Turnover Quips.
Coach Lakovich telling him, dribble the ball out yourself. Get it out there and get to an open man.
Loud on the floor, off the glass, comes up short. Humphries tipped it. Here come the Quips. Jordan will miss the shot, and Ross rips down the rebound. Humphries got a hand on it to deny the break.
Jordan kind of got distracted when he was going up there. I'm not quite sure what he did, but he watched his head. He kind of turned away at the last second.
Inbounds play, it leads to a 3 from Ross off the mark. Humphries with a rebound. Inside the halfway mark of quarter number 4. Aliquippa with a basketball and a 16-point lead. A bump and a foul is going to put Jordan back at the line, and now he'll shoot 2. He'll do that when we come back to Hershey. Aliquippa in control, looking for the AA title. When we come back to Hershey, they lead by 16. Aliquippa 56, Mastery Charter 40 inside of 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Now, you've mentioned this more than one occasions over the time we've done these games. This is when it becomes the most nervous as a head coach with a lead.
Well, 6 seconds in here to coach time. Okay, 4 minutes in, I always believe that's a coach's game. You can play your game till then with a few modifications. But at 4 minutes, it's my game, okay? And so now with a 16-point lead, Coach Lakovich is going to have a very short leash on anybody who's not buying into his game right now.
Jasir Jordan at the foul line again. He'll shoot 2. Foul on Mastery Charter puts the Quips in the bonus. Makes the first. Quips now 11 out of 12 in the second half at the foul line.
I really like the management of the clock that they've done here starting the fourth quarter, and really have done a good job on dictating the pace at which this game is going to be played. They do not want to be running up and down now. They want to be taking good high percentage shots with nobody in their face.
Offensive foul on the other end as Chucky Humphries absorbs the contact from Asa Kitchen. That'll be another turnover from Mastery Charter, and the Quips will get it back.
You can see the frustration on the other side with Coach Terrence Cook, as Mastery Charter just in the half court has really never gotten it the second half. They've totally been out of sync here in the half court game.
We showed that to you in our highlights at halftime. The transition game rolling from Mastery Charter, that was the essence of their offense in the first half. Just hasn't been here in the second. They've got 18 points as a result in half number 2.
And you say, why haven't they been able to do the same thing in the second half? It was the offense that was played by Aliquippa. Here's a defensive steal, though.
Jet Benford-Jones with the takeaway to the rack, and for 2 more for Benford-Jones.
Sorry, Bob. See how comfortable they were right there? Very comfortable getting the steal, right away go to the rack. But that's been a rare bird flying around the second half.
Sheldon Jeter with an opening. Kazon Pugh with the assist. 60-42. Jeter now with 16. Benford-Jones lost the handle on it. Pugh on the outlet pass. Jeter to Jordan. Off the glass for 2 more for Jasir Jordan.
Jordan did a nice job of looking over all his options. Said, I've got a good enough shot. It's not going to get it blocked. And he lays it in. Timeout the floor. Mastery Charter.
2 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in this basketball game. Chucky Humphries, we told you at the beginning of the game, might be the most athletic player on this floor. 6'6" and great off the feet.
But you watch him in this game. I mean, here he is, blocks the ball. I mean, he is a guy that holds his feet. He never goes up until you go up. Look at him get the percentage right there. Keeps his feet down. Here he is again, getting out, get a piece on it again. Humphries been all over the place defensively. One more time on the offensive glass as well. He can put it back, and then he takes it hard to the glass, finishes, and then makes the three-point play the tough way, going to the line. And then finally, once again, unselfish basketball, taking the charge, planting those feet, and ready to take the worst that has to be offered by the offensive player. We talked about why did Mastery Charter stay in that nice trapping thing they were doing here in the second half? Because Aliquippa took it away. They put 4 guys at the baseline, took away the entire ability to have those guards come out front and chase, and now made it a one-on-one game, and they were very comfortable with that, and they put their best one-on-one player on the floor out there with Jasir Jordan and also Sheldon Jeter, and they were able to get it done.
And Jasir Jordan was brilliant in this second half. Again, scoreless in the first half. Finished the first half with more fouls than points, which will get you usually a seat up close and personal on the coach's side of things. Different story in the second half. He's now got 20. You see Chucky Humphries getting the stat line filled up all the way across the board. And there's a block by Pugh. Right back to Cloud, who's there for the putback. And then Humphries trying to get the block, commits the foul instead. Count the bucket, and a foul shot coming up for Cloud.
Tell you why they were able to get that shot. The guards got wider, and I've seen the whole second half of the 2-3, and then they forced Humphries to come up in the middle to jam up the hole and left the little area behind him there for the easy shot.
Rodney Ross with the putback and a missed foul shot turns into a 4-point play for the Pumas. Right back come the Quips. Groot tried to bounce past the basketball, but it was kicked out of bounds. It'll be Aliquippa basketball with 2.5 to play.
Well, to stay with Aliquippa now, but that particular pass right there is not one you need. Here's one of the things I can tell you for sure as a coach. When you have the ball, the other team doesn't. They need it to catch up.
Dangerous inbounds pass. Humphries in a double team. Pulls it away from traffic. Jordan will keep it in the corner.
Now you just spread it.
Players chasing and fouling, and it will send Sheldon Jeter to the line. Right now, Master Charter thinking, you know what? I think we fouled the guy with number 1 on his jersey enough because he's not missing at the stripe. Let's try somebody else. They'll put Sheldon Jeter on the line instead.
Yeah, we'll go down 1-0 and see how that works. There's a name you've heard around that town for a long time in Aliquippa, Jeter, right?
Yep, absolutely. Bunch of a number of Jeters, whether it be either at Aliquippa or nearby at Beaver Falls. There have been several of them, and a lot of them have played in this state championship. Lance Jeter played for Beaver Falls. His cousin Sheldon Jeter also played at Beaver Falls. Is now playing in Pitt. Sheldon Jeter, the starting quarterback for the Quips in that state championship game. He's at the foul line where he goes 2 for 2 here, and the lead is back up to 18 at 64-46. The game now for Mastery Charter is Eric Spann, 5'10 junior. They get it inside. Benford Jones blocked. Take your pick. Humphries and Crute both there get a piece of it.
Crute got the piece coming from the front that time, but Humphries made him change the shot going up.
Bounce play to Plowden. Plowden now with 24. Try to force it inside. It's Humphries with a steal.
Boy, Humphries has been all over the place defensively. What an outstanding game he has had defensively. We saw a package here a moment ago. He adds to it here.
So the Quips with the basketball now inside of 2 minutes to play, and the grab and the foul will put Jeter back at the line.
And the official's telling the player right there, listen, you got to go for the ball. Don't reach out, get the shirt. At least make it look like you're going for the ball.
Right. That's good officiating. No reason to call that intentional foul. I'm sure that's what Nick Lakovich is arguing for, but really it's just about, look, you got to at least make a play for it, or next time we're going to get you for the intentional. Instead, it's Jeter shooting 2 anyhow. Of course, if it's an intentional foul, then the Quips would get the ball back as well. So the Quips go back to the foul line, and they continue to get it done. And Terrence Cook will say, you know what? It's been a great ride for us. It's been a great learning experience. Let's get everybody a chance to get a curtain call here, and he's going to bring in some fresh jerseys. Coming into the game now for Mastery Charter, Elijah Vincent, a junior, will check in. Daquan Plowden, an outstanding effort today with 24 points, will come out. Jameer Reed, a 5'11 freshman, also into the game. Eric Spann had been in that last possession. Also into the game for the Pumas is Isaiah Fields, a 5'7 senior, and Romel Minor, a 5'8 junior. Minor will fire up a 3, that's off the mark. Aliquippa with a basketball, trying to run some time off the clock unless there's a foul, and there is.
I got to be honest with you, I'm not sure why you'd foul right now.
I think that's because you got a player on the floor who hasn't
played that often.
Been on there and probably not thinking about the situation. I'm sure Terrence Cook will tell his young man, you know what, that's enough, boys. Let's let this one go, as Jordan is back at the foul line. And he is just not missing.
Well, you could say I got the book somehow, it just wasn't the way I wanted to, right?
Lead is 20 plus now, thanks to the great work of Sear Jordan and the Quips, and especially at this foul line. The irony of that, of course, being what we asked Nick Lakovich before the game, what do you got to do different in this one that you didn't do last year? That's adjust the officiating, and the foul trouble we got in early in that game came back to bite us in the second half. The opposite side of the equation here in half number 2. Jeter ahead of the pack will miss. Pugh will miss the follow and then get called for the technical, hanging on the rim.
Yeah, not one you need to do. Coach Lakovich just came up, and look at him. He's furious. Jeter threw that up so he can get the dunk from behind. That was a set piece there by Jeter.
And this gets back to what we were talking about yesterday with Rick Mancino and Kennedy Catholic. It's not about trying to get on the highlight reel. It's about trying to go home with a gold medal. Nick Lakovich is going to coach this one to the horn sounds. Meantime, Spann is at the foul line, goes 1 out of 2.
I'll tell you what, I won this classification. My team did back in 1987. And I remember coming down the stretch, and I was thinking of every sick, perverted way we could lose this thing. And I had one kid that went out there was trying to dunk at the end. he got pushed. He came back and started pushing the other kid. By the time the guy's hands came back, he was on the bench with me. So, you know, as a coach, your job is to maintain, you know, discipline down to the end here, not let people punctuate it with exclamation points that need not be.
Jamar Mike will now check into the game for Aliquippa. Sheldon Jeter, runner-up on the football field in the fall. Different story in the winter. In the basketball floor, he'll come out of the game. An outstanding effort today for Sheldon Jeter, and he will finish with 20 points. And the Quips lead by 21.
That young man just tipped that last ball. Has played quietly a spectacular game. I'm talking about Chucky Humphreys. He has been the difference maker inside with his defense.
Final minute now for Aliquippa with the basketball. A 21-point lead. Again, a year ago, they came here spotless record at 29-0. They came out on the short end of the stick against Conwell Egan. But Aliquippa, again, one of the most prideful teams in the state of Pennsylvania when it comes to high school sports. They get called for the 5-second violation here. They will now be 5-5 all-time in state championship games in boys basketball. And it's a curtain call now for Jasir Jordan. Payson Pugh as well will come out of the game. Chucky Humphreys right now will stay in, as will Robert Crute. Into the game for the Quips comes Thomas Perry, a 5'5 junior. And Javad Fields also back in the game for Aliquippa.
Notice the language there. You just saw Coach Lakovich hugging his players. We talked about that with him before the game. We said, he's a 1979 grad of Aliquippa. We said, is there a language you speak there? He goes, yeah, there kind of is. He said, we know families. They said, we all know each other. We know how to speak to people here with each other, and they understand. And I think, you know, it's not always going to be a sweet love kind of talk, but it's tough love now and then. I think that's what makes great basketball teams, and one of the reasons that Aliquippa is such a great sports town, because you're not afraid to talk tough love here in the effort to try to win.
And this is the end result. The hug, the embrace as they come off as state champions. It's a senior-laden lineup. Again, Robert Crute, the only underclassman. They were all here a year ago. They tasted the feel of what silver feels like. It'll be gold in 2016 as Eric Spann makes a couple at the foul line for Mastery Charter. And Aliquippa will try and let the clock wind its way down. They'll head back to Beaver County as your 2016 not only state champions, but unbeaten at 30-0 as well.
Think about that over 2 years, 59-1.
Coach will call a timeout just to get a substitution in the game. It's just about getting a player on the floor one time, and that would be Nico Bible, 5'8 junior, will check into the game the final 11 seconds. These are the guys who work hard every day in practice. They get them a chance to get on the floor here in the state final as well.
Don't keep a guy with the name of Bible off the floor.
Final seconds will tick down. Aliquippa will be your boys AA state champion. Final score, the Quips 68, Mastery Charter 49. We will take a break, and it's medal ceremony time when we come back to Hershey. Aliquippa is your boys AA state champion. Quarter, 14 of their 20 fourth quarter points scored at the stripe. Ended up 18 out of 19 in the second half at the foul line, getting it done and never allowing the Pumas to get on a run.
You got to win for the free throw line, man. I tell you what, they were dynamite in the second half there. Also, you look at Jordan out front with Jeter in the tight front of that 2-3 zone, and then you look Crute, Humphreys, and Pugh in the back. I mean, they were just like, they shut it down in the second half. And then the offensive moves they made with the 1-4, taking away the whole effectiveness of that matchup zone for Mastery was amazing, and it really led away here to a big victory this afternoon.
And so Aliquippa will be your AA champion again. They'll end up an unbeaten season with the AA championship. Mastery Charter North, first time here, but they were impressive. They did a great job to get here, and they'll come back with the silver. They're the runner-up in District 12, and they'll be the runner-up in the PIAA. Silver medals for Terrence Cook's team. Aliquippa will get the gold.
Isaiah Fields, Asa Kitchen, Ramir Moore, Eli Alvin, Rodney Ross, Eric Spann, Anthony Sanders. Jameer Reed. Jalen Catlett. Elijah Vincent. Benford Jones. Daquan Plowden. Assistant coach Gerald Johnson. Their athletic director Mike Poplowski. Scorekeeper Damian Abrams. Mastery head coach Terrence Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one additional medal for Mastery Charter North. Unable to be with us, Andre Allen. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And now we'd ask Rodney Ross, Daquan Plowden, Benford Jones, and Asa Kitchen please step forward as the Pumas of Mastery Charter will be presented with the 2016 PIAA AA runner-up trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pumas of Mastery Charter. And now we move to the other end of the floor. It is time to meet your 2016 PIAA AA Boy Champion, the Quips of Aliquippa. Head coach Nick Lakovich, presenting the medals beginning with Sheldon Jeter. Jasir Jordan. William Gibson. Thomas Perry. Robert Crute. Davion Crute. Jamar Mike. Sovon Moreland. Charles Chucky Humphreys. Nico Bible. Kazon Pugh. Ahmad Gilbert. Bobby Cashall. Javad Fields. Assistant coaches, Dwight Hines. Bill Cashall. Dwight Lindsay. Maurice Smith. Athletic trainer, Charles Brantner. Their scorekeeper, Deanna Hines. And the head coach of the Quips of Aliquippa, Nick Lakovich. And now, first of all, Hershey Bar waiting at midcourt, welcoming Kazon Pugh, Chucky Humphreys, Sheldon Jeter, Jasir Jordan. Step forward as you receive, first of all, a 5-pound Hershey chocolate bar, and of course, the 2016 PIAA Class AA Boys Championship Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, 30-0, the Quips of Aliquippa. Congratulations.
And so it's Aliquippa who holds off Mastery Charter. They had a 3-point lead at halftime, and it turns into a pretty comfortable victory for the Quips with a 19-point victory. And Gary, tasting that state championship is the ultimate level of success for every high school basketball team. every high school athletic team around the state of Pennsylvania. Things got to taste a whole lot better after you tasted silver the year before.
Well, it was looking a lot like the Commonwealth-Egan game at the end of the first half, and you started saying, Jesus, this is ghosts of championships past. But the second half, they made a couple of wonderful changes, and they tightened up their zone a little bit, took away the half-court game from Mastery. They did a great job of taking and dissecting that whole matchup zone at the other end and flattening it out and making it not a matchup anymore and allowing them to play one-on-one, and they did a great job of that. Jordan came to play in the second half and really led the team, make good decisions, both with the basketball, when to pull it out, when to score. And, you know, for the Aliquippa Quips, it was the language of success here again today. It's been that way for 59 out of 60 games for 2 years, and they just put an exclamation point on an outstanding 2 years today with a really, really good way of winning this championship. I mean, they put it all together in the second half.
They send up the season, as Gary said, unbeaten and champions as well. Mastery Charter will finish at 27-4. Aliquippa unbeaten in the AA championship with a 30-0 record. For Gary Sutton, my name is Bob McCool. For all of us at PCN, thanks for watching the Boys AA Championship. Don't forget, we've got another doubleheader coming your way tonight here on PCN beginning at 6 o'clock. We'll see you there, right back here on PCN.
Welcome to our post-game show. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills, joined by head coach Nick Lakovich. Coach, last year you entered this ball game undefeated, coming in. It didn't go your way. What was different this time around?
I just think the experience of having been through this one time, we just came in better mentally prepared, and we just did what we had to do today.
Coach, you were up by just 3 points at halftime. What was your message to your team at that point as you came back with a big second half?
Offensively, we just had to make better decisions. We better shot selection, better decisions. And defensively, we just had to tweak a couple things. But that was the biggest thing. Just, offensively, our shot selection and decisions.
Anything in particular to Jazir Jordan? He had 3 fouls and no points at halftime.
Jazir played like Jazir is supposed to play the second half. We've been waiting for that kind of performance. He totally dictated everything the second half. He was the guy.
Coach, you have 4 seniors in this starting lineup. What have they meant to your program, and how satisfying and gratifying is it to get them this championship here tonight?
They mean everything to the program. When I got here 3 years ago, those were the first 4 guys in the gym. I told them, that if we did the right things, we could be doing this one day. And sure enough, it has come true.
Coach, congratulations. Jim, you have one of the key players.
We'll bring Sheldon right on in here. Sheldon Jeter, 20 points today. Great job. And I'll tell you what, I know the frustration of the football thing had a lot to do with it.
It had a lot to do with it. We came up here 3 times before this and we lost. In this game, we wasn't going away with no lose. No matter what, we making sure we won this tonight. And that's what we did.
A little bit of a problem in the first half with some of the things they did, but the second half, I think you guys came out defensively and did a really good job.
In the second half, our guard, Jazir Jordan, came out tremendously, scoring buckets, off the rip, controlling everything, and we came out hard.
Defense has been a key for you all year. Only 5 games all year where you let people have over 50, and today was 49.
Well, yeah, that's our #1 key at practice. That's what Coach said, defense. Defense wins championships, offense wins games.
Mike, you have a couple of the other guys there?
He got them going offensively. This young man, Jazir Jordan, kept it going in the second half. Young man, 3 personal fouls at half, no points. What was different for you, and what was your mindset taking the court in that third quarter?
I had foul trouble almost each game in the playoffs, so it was just the fact that it was our last high school game together, and I didn't want to go out with 5 fouls and being out the game. And these guys, we just worked so hard, and we wanted just so bad. And this was it was their 4th chance, me and Chucky's 3rd chance. It was just our time to come back here and win again, and we just really wanted it.
Obviously, taking a look at some highlights, 22 points, 7 assists for you, made 11 of 12 down the stretch from the free throw line. You probably had a sense, knowing the way it finished last year, that might be key. Was that something you worked on?
Yes, we really needed free throws. At the end of each practice, we always shoot free throws. That's Coach Nick has us shooting, almost a half an hour. We just shoot free throws, keep rotating, shooting and shooting. It was just everything. We wanted to get back to this point so bad, and once we got here, we knew you had to win. That was it. You just wanted to win.
Chucky Humphreys, one of 4 seniors on this team. How important is it to close the door here tonight for your teammates and guys you've spent a lot of time around?
It's just very important. I mean, I feel like we just made history. We just went 30-0. I mean, we almost had it last year, so we definitely came back more hungry this year. It's just a great feeling. Get it with my brothers, man. We just been talking about this since 7th grade. Definitely just.
We're going to look at some highlights of you as well. Tough physical ball game in the beginning. You were able to alter a lot of shots. Looked like your defense frustrated those guys. Did you have that same sense?
Yeah, definitely. Coach Nick always tells us to take pride in defense and stuff, and I'm a hype guy. I like to move around and stuff and make a difference out there. It doesn't matter what position I play as long as I'm